Today, we're going to talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Algorand, and VeChain. Plus, I'm going to give you guys an update on our two play-to-earn tokens, MegaWeapon and also Kitty Inu. Now, if you guys are enjoying this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel and also click the bell icon so that you get notifications. So with that said, guys, the Bitcoin daily time frame going back to 2021, this is something that we've been talking about now for weeks. So ever since we had this liquidation candle down here at $42,000, I've been saying how a move down toward 40 was likely. And it all has to do with how Bitcoin has treated these liquidation candles since early 2021. So every single time we see this liquidation candle where you see a big red candle, lots of liquidations during the session, a lot of demand later in the session to get that long lower wick, Bitcoin tends to move just below it before bottoming. So we have seen this several times over the past 12 months. And so far, the market is playing out the exact same way. Now, the question at the moment is, will $40,000 serve as the low, okay, the starting point for the bounce, or will we see a little bit lower? Because make no mistake, every time this has happened since early 2021, we have seen a considerable bounce from Bitcoin. In fact, the average bounce here was 63%. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to get a 63% bounce from Bitcoin over the coming weeks. We could, but that's just the average based on this pattern. The lowest one back here was 27%. So I would expect at some point over the coming weeks to get at least a 20 to 30% bounce from BTC. This is what I've been saying for the past week or so. So again, it depends on whether or not this is going to be the low down here at 40, if this holds, or we see a revisit of $40,000 or potentially even $35,000. So if you missed yesterday's video, be sure to check it out because I do talk about the confluence of support that has built up right around $35,000. And part of that is this trend line off of the bear market high. So that doesn't mean that we will see Bitcoin trend toward that area. However, if it does, there is a lot of support that's built up right around $35,000. So what I will say about this is I continue to like a move higher from this area. It's unclear right now if we do see a retest of 40,000, potentially just below that before the bottom is in and we do get that breakout. Okay, now resistance for Bitcoin is going to come in between 44,000 all the way up here toward 46. So 44,000 is the trend line off of this high from April. So you can see we have these two swing highs. Bitcoin found support there through this area, broke below it, and now you can see where this trend line is serving as resistance. So really we have this trend line around 44,000. We have the top of this channel up here right around 46,000 along with this horizontal area. So to summarize, the area between 35 and 40, I continue to like a bounce from this area. That is going to be key support for Bitcoin, especially that $35,000 area if it is tested. And resistance is going to come in between $44,000 and $46,000. We do need to see Bitcoin close above that area to open up the $50,000 to $53,000 region. So at the moment, still a lot of indecision here, still a lot of sideways price action. We don't yet have a confirmed bottom just yet. Okay, so we're going to need to see Bitcoin close above this area up here around 44,000 to 46,000 to really confirm that the bottom is in and also expose 50 to 53,000. Now, lastly, I do still have my long spot position on. As you guys know, I had orders set between 40 and 42 that have filled. And I also still have orders set all the way down toward $35,000. So I explained this in yesterday's video, how really I'm just dollar cost averaging into a long position here, spot only for that potential move up toward 50 to 53 over the coming weeks, which I do think that we will get. So it's unclear exactly when that's going to happen, but I do think this is going to be a process. As I've been saying on Twitter, I don't think we're going to get a $6,000 green candle to get us out of this mess. I think that it's going to take weeks, which we've seen so far, in order for Bitcoin to bottom. So whether that comes between 40 and 42, or we see a drop below 40 before the bottom is in, I still like the idea of a bounce higher from this region. So next up we have Ethereum. So let's go ahead and take a look at that chart. And similar to Bitcoin, the market has been sideways ever since this low down here off of channel support. So you can see where we have this descending channel on the daily time frame. Okay, and support comes in down here at this low. Now, at the moment, the market barely tested this support region down here. So what I've been saying is that there is a chance we could see a move down into 2,800 to really test this area before we get that significant bounce. And the reason for that is if you look at the price action between this area around 1,700 and the all-time high, this is the 50% retracement right around $2,800. Okay, so you can see where the 50% comes in here, and we also have several highs and also lows through this area. So you can see back here that Ethereum came very close to testing this region down here, but not quite. So there is a chance that we get a move down here toward this area, especially if today closes below 3150, because you can see back here, this was support, resistance, and then so far it has held as support this week, but today is at risk of closing below it. So if we do see that close below it, there's a chance that we see a move down here into support right around 2,800, maybe 2,900, and then we get that bounce. So that could line up with Bitcoin maybe down toward 40,000, maybe just a bit lower. But I do like the idea of a bounce here for Ethereum once we get that retest of this area down here. So at the moment, it does look like we need to see a little bit lower for Ethereum before we get that bounce. Okay, no guarantee of that, but it does seem that way so far. Now, as far as resistance goes, obviously the top of this channel is going to be key, but also looking at the weekly time frame, this is something that I have been discussing now for the last few weeks. So anything below $4,000, you have to be a little bit skeptical of, because this area served as resistance before. We saw Ethereum close above it, and then we saw a recent close below it. Now, that close below it was both on a weekly and monthly closing basis. So what that means is we need to see Ethereum get back above this area up around $4,000 to turn bullish again. So it has to close the day and week back above that level to turn bullish. And until that time, I think you have to be careful here, at least getting bullish, because if we do see a bounce from 2,800 or so, you have to take what the market gives you and just be cautious getting overly bullish while Ethereum is below that $4,000 area, because I think that this is going to be crucial for the market to close back above in order for the market to turn bullish again on a macro level. But all in all, like I said, I do expect a bounce over the next few weeks, and whether that comes from current levels or we get a move down here, that's still yet to be seen. However, if you are looking to buy this, not financial advice, just my opinion, what I would do is I would look for a move down here into this area. I think that's the best risk to reward. Look for a move down into these lows here, and also this high, as well as that 50% retracement that we just talked about. Again, not financial advice, just my opinion, but that's what I would look for here for that eventual move up here into this channel resistance. So next up we have Algorand, which is an interesting chart because we have this market that has been moving within an ascending channel really since March of 2020. So you can see this ascending channel here where we have the March 2020 low, we have two lows through here, and then we have two highs that touched right off of the top of this channel. Now keep in mind, this is an equidistant channel. Now Algo almost tested resistance back here, but not quite. Same thing with this high up here and also this recent low. So lately we really haven't gotten a retest of this channel support or even resistance for Algorand. So what I would be watching now is I would be keeping an eye on channel support, this multi-year channel support, and also how it intersects with this short-term descending trend line. So you can see that since back here in September, we've had this channel that's developed, all right, which could be a bullish formation if the market can find support down here around $1.15. So if it can over the coming weeks, let's just assume if we get a retest down here toward the end of January, this is going to be a confluence of support right around $1.15. If we do see a bounce from there, the next resistance for Algo is going to come in up here around $1.50 to $1.60. So even that right there would be a decent move from this market. Obviously, if we then got to close above this resistance level, we could start targeting some of these recent highs up around $2 or even higher. But ultimately, when we look at this chart, we do have a multi-year uptrend. Okay, so the trend is very much intact. And we also then have this short-term descending channel, which, as I said, could give an opportunity around $1.15. As always, it's not financial advice. This is just my opinion, but this is going to be a confluence of support for the market to where if we were to see a move higher, we could get that move up into $1.50, maybe $1.60. So next, let's talk about VeChain, which I know is on everybody's mind. People love to hear about VET. So we have a market right now that is testing support. So the May trend line that comes in right around 7 cents. I've talked about this level in the past, and you can see how it has served as support here over the past week. Okay, so we had 2 touches off of this level. The market is testing it again today, and it's really kind of struggling to move higher from this level. So it does kind of tell me the fact that we're getting this potential lower high into support down here at 7 cents that we could see a breakdown. Now, if we do see a breakdown here, guys, we are going to be looking at this trend line off of August 2018. Okay, the August 2018 low. We have discussed this at length. You can see where this was the August 2018 low. And this trend line served as resistance throughout the bear market. Okay, you can even see through here, resistance, we got the breakout, retest as support. Now, this trend line comes in right around 6.5 cents at the moment. It's interesting that that also lines up with this horizontal area, okay, right around 6 cents that has served as support for VET over the past year. So if we do see VeChain close below 7 cents, then keep an eye on 6 to 6.5 cents, because this down here is going to be the must hold for buyers. And as I've said recently, could produce a favorable buying opportunity. Once again, as always, that's just my opinion, not financial advice. But I do think any rotation into 6 to 6.5 cents could produce a healthy bounce. Now, as far as resistance goes, if we look at the daily time frame, all right, this area up here, right around 9 cents or so, is going to be a pivot for the market. It's not what I would consider a key resistance area, because you can see how the market has kind of flip-flopped back and forth between this area. But above that is going to be 10 cents. And this is really going to be the big one for VET to break, because it would carve the first higher high within this series and kind of break that downtrend. Now above that would be 12 cents. Okay, but right now, as I said, this area down around 7 cents is going to be support. If we do see that breakdown, which does seem kind of likely at the moment, then you're going to want to keep an eye on that area between 6 and 6.5 cents. So next, let's talk about the first play to earn token, and that is MegaWeapon. The token here is Weapon. It is available on Uniswap. I've been talking about this token ever since back here in December when it was trading just above $1. That's also where I was buying. Unfortunately, I did miss this dip below $1 around Christmas, but that's the way it goes. At the moment, the market is finding resistance up here between $3.50 and $4. Okay, so we need a convincing close above this area to really flip it to support. And you can see, though, the volume recently has looked pretty good. Now, as for support, I don't know if we'll get a move this low, but if we were to get a move down here into $1.70, I would be very interested to even average up on my position, just because this area was resistance previously. So I do think any rotation into $1.70 could trigger a lot of demand. Furthermore, $1.70 is the 50% retracement of this low down here up to the recent high. So there's a lot going on at $1.70 to where if we did see Weapon move into that area, I would definitely be a buyer. Now, as far as where I'm looking to sell this, not anytime soon, because they do have staking coming out in the next few weeks. They're just waiting on a third-party audit to complete that. So staking in a few weeks, the full game is set to launch later this quarter. It looks really cool from all the footage we've seen so far. It is a battle arena style play to earn game that I think has a ton of potential, because it's not only going to be fun to play, but it's also going to be fun to watch. So you're going to grab the attention of a lot of those popular game broadcasters that have large audiences. So I personally think that right now with this market cap sitting around 26 million, I think this has 10x potential this year. So I would not be at all surprised to see, once we have staking launched and we get closer to the game launch, I would not be surprised at all to see this trading up around at least 100 million, maybe $200 million, probably more though. So a 10x from here, in my opinion, is pretty conservative. Once again, considering it's trading right around a $26 million market cap today, considering those 10 million total tokens that are out there. So lots of potential here this year, in my opinion. As always, not financial advice, just my opinion. But if you are looking to buy, this is where, as I said, I'm going to be a buyer down here to $1.70 if we get it. Right now, though, I'm not even sure if we will, just because the market is holding up really well here, just below all-time high. So it really does look ready to pop off any day now. And if they do release staking in the next week or two, then that could do it, and this market could be off to all-time highs. So I think it has a lot of potential, guys, and I think that MegaWeapon is definitely one to check out if it's not already on your radar. And last but not least is going to be our second play to earn token, and this one is Kitty Inu. Okay, so the token is Kitty, Kitty. It is available on Uniswap and PancakeSwap. They have the beta release of their Kitty Kart game coming out in the next few weeks. So think of Mario Kart, but the ability to play as your favorite NFT characters or meme characters. So they've already partnered up with Pudgy Penguins. They bought a Bored Ape. So you're going to be able to race as these characters in a play to earn game that's very similar to Mario Kart. So this is another one that I think has a ton of potential. Today's price puts it right around a $20 million market cap. So, very low considering that they have a beta release coming out in the next few weeks. And the game footage on this one too looks incredible. So this is another token where I think 10x potential, if not more, later this year once they get closer to launching the full game. Now, looking at the chart, this is something I talked about recently. This support down here, I was actually buying on this candle that retested support. And as I said today, I do think that the bottom is in. So the reason I think that is if you look at the price action here over the past few months, really ever since this high up here, we've had a series of lower highs until this one. Now, at the same time, ever since this low back here and then this one, we've had this series of lower lows until potentially right now. So we're kind of getting this change in trend where the market got beat down a lot, obviously from Bitcoin, and also entered into this phase where we had the initial hype around the coin back here. And then this is where they really started to work on development of the game. And so the hype kind of died down. And this tends to happen with play to earn tokens. We see this all the time. So in my opinion, I think we're kind of getting to the end of that lull phase where everybody's a little bit bored and kind of waiting on new developments. I think that the bottom is in here. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think that the bottom is in just because, as I said, we are starting to get that first higher high and potentially the first higher low here. So I was buying into this back here, and I did average down, as I said, back here on this candle. So a lot of potential here, in my opinion. 10x this year is probably very conservative considering the game that we've seen. And again, beta comes out in a few weeks, full game later this quarter. And they do also have plans to list on a central exchange, which probably won't be until they have the game out or at least get very close to it. Just because a lot of exchanges like that, a lot of tier ones, they do require utility for your token. So they're going to look for that in order to list the token, but they do have plans for that in the future. So, look, in the next few months, guys, we're looking at a fully launched game, potentially listed on a tier one central exchange. So just like with MegaWeapon, I do think that Kitty Inu and their Kitty Kart game has a ton of potential. All right, guys, so I hope that this video has helped you. If you did enjoy the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel and also click that bell icon. And don't forget to smash the like button and leave your comment below. I do try to make it a point to respond to every single comment. So with that said, guys, hope it helped, and I will talk to you again tomorrow.